Welcome back to the Morning Dew. This is, as we promised you, the Hotspots segment where we get to discuss matters arising, current affairs politically. And we are in a very, very political season, and that makes for quite some interesting conversations. Well, today I have one guest with me, but the conversation will not be any less interesting. I promise you of that. Before you get to know him, do remember that we are live on Facebook. We are also live on YouTube. You can catch us on either one of those two platforms. You can also watch us on dissecttv.com or on any one of our social media platforms. Well, you can send us an SMS on 23595 or send us your feedback on our social media platforms, that is at Dissect TV, or send us a WhatsApp message on the number running there on your screen. Now it is time for us to get to know you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jack Norris Kipkoge. Currently I'm a student at Murang'a University pursuing a degree in software engineering, and I'm on my final year. But as well as I'm a political analyst, political strategist. I work in some technical teams of some political aspirants, and that is what keeps me the other side of me. Otherwise, things to do with the country progress. I'm also professionally, I'm a graphical designer, and I did a bachelor's degree in software engineering. Yes, thank you.
Wow, that is quite the portfolio. And I did assure you that the conversation will not be in any way disinteresting. So I want us to do something different today, a bit different other than what we've been doing on the Hotspot segment since we started. Today I want us to discuss a bit of campus politics to the whatever extent that you are knowledgeable of. And then maybe in the second part of this segment, we'll now start looking into the national politics and what is happening. So to get started on, how does campus politics compare to what happens on the national stage?
Okay, thank you. Basically, campus politics, it is in one way matching with national politics, only that some things are still done in a basic manner. At some point you will find some, in fact, the way politics are played nationally, of course, the way they are played in campus would reflect how they are played nationally, but then the effort, we can't run away from the fact that, the players are still the students. They are still students, and of course, fairly enough, I think campus politics are okay. They match national politics to an extent. Even you will find that at some point, people are there championing their aspirations in any way possible to understand everything. And when after politics and everything, now leadership comes in, and so there is that leadership that accompanies politics. Just the way nationally you will have leadership that will accompany politics that have been played at the background and everything. Yeah.
And what changes does the student leaders who are elected effect in the campus? Do they have any say in, for instance, the courses offered? Do they have a say in the times that the classes begin, or is it just is their influence limited only to the social aspects of the student's life?
Okay, thank you. I believe the student leadership and everything when it comes to institutions. There was a bill that was signed the other day by the president on the 16th of December 2016 that gave a detail of how the structure of student leadership would be. And so when you find the student leadership, it is coordinated in such a way that at some point they form what we call the University Senate. And in the University Senate, they have the representatives from the council, who are also the representatives of the students. And so as a council, they would go there to the school senate, discuss things, matters pertaining the school, how the school activities are going to be run, how everything is going to be planned, including even what you're talking about, the classes, the timetable and everything. The Senate are there to approve each and every proposal that has been made to the school for the success of the school. Yes.
Right. And do you feel like participating in campus politics is something that shapes people for playing politics on a larger scale, that is nationally?
Okay, thank you. Basically, how I happen to perceive many things is that from the past experience I've had and from the past interactions I've made, I think personally I would tie that participating in campus politics is plays a key role as much as shaping one for the future politics. One in that the political experiences you get in at these basic levels here in campus would at some point need you will at some point need some skills that you acquired somewhere so that you can apply them somewhere. You know, at some point you will go somewhere, you meet new instruments, meet new persons, meet new players, and because of some new some small rules, some small tactics you have ever used somewhere and they worked, they would help you at the national stage. So to me, I would not despise campus politics. They play a very major role as much as someone is aspiring to be a leader in future, and as much as someone is ready to be part of people contributing to discussions that are going to take this nation to the next level. Yes.
And while looking into the social media pages of Moranga University during the time before you had your elections, I came across a very interesting term, and it is a term that is being used also in the national politics, and that is state project. What does it mean as far as campus politics is concerned?
All right, thank you. I believe, Mungai, you understand in everything you do. That is what we always call maybe interest. And in politics, there are what we call political interest and everything. That is why you'll find some parties conflicting. They want to do this, they want to do this. And when you take me to a point, you would want us to reason about, to talk about the state projects and everything, just the way you would see what is happening nationally right now. There would always be, maybe at some point, a hand that is trying to improve. You know, of course, it's not something. It's not something that is legitimized to be working or to would be approved to work. But then some persons would want to improve the process in the manner of what they are trying to introduce some darkness, so that you might not get a clear picture of what is actually going to happen. And so decisions are always influenced and basing on the degree of democracy and everything. And maybe to say specifically, I would say the influence, there is an influence because of course people would want to invite a new council that is coming in, but then I doubt. I've had my reservations when it comes to having some trust with the school management and everything. I'm not pointing a finger on a specific management, but then for myself, to myself, I've been a good observant. I've been observing what has been happening, and I know national politics is a reflection of what has been happening all along. It is a reflection of what has happened at some stages. That is why you have the result over there. And so I would say it is what the people would call a deep state. It is there, and it's not something to be ignored, but it is something that ought to be scrapped away because it's actually not good for the students' democracy and the students' right. Yes.
I have two questions from the statement that you just made. One is about the deep state. What exactly would that be? Do you know what the deep state is? Like, is it a faction of previous student body leadership? Is it the management, or is it something? Is it another body outside the school that is affecting matters inside the school?
Okay, what I can say about that is that personally I've not experienced, but then I have witnessed happening. And so on the cases that I've witnessed, I would say most probably it is always the school management that are trying to determine the incoming council, so that you would wish to choose some good persons, not the good persons to the students, but then the persons who would easily blend to what sort of the drives you have in that management of yours. So me personally, I've always pointed out on the management, because the management runs nearly everything in any institution, and so for that matter, they would want to see what is good for their own, but not considering what is good for the public. Yes, so it is the management.
Okay, and with that in mind, to what extent does democracy exist within universities?
Okay. Democracy, when it comes to democracy in some institutions, I would say it varies depending on the institution, because at some point the institution would have to intrigue some new regulations, so that they can curtail what has been happening. Or maybe an institution might be having some experience or past experience of some strike and everything, and so to avoid such, they have always learned how things are done, how things are coming in. And so I will tell you, the democracy varies from an institution to an institution, but then generally, in a scale, I would rate, maybe in a scale of 0 to 10, I would rate democracy in campus politics. Maybe I'll have it at 5. Yeah.
You're playing it, keeping it the middle ground. Yeah?
Because it is, it's not, the management, they don't have a political interest, but they have their own interests that are influenced or that would be affected by those politics. And so to have it a fair ground, I would say there is a battle between two parties. The students, leave alone now the coalitions, the student coalitions and everything, the students at large versus the management. And it is happening. But though I've not experienced, I've been a student at some institution, but that has not happened to me, and I've not seen in that institution. But then in some institutions that I've been observing, and I've been like, wow, I think that there is something to be done here. Yes.
All right. Now, having been in that institution and having taken part in campus politics for as long as you have, what are your projections for how these institutions, politics within these institutions will change in the next 10, maybe 15 years?
Okay, I will not even go much to 10 to 15 years, but then give it a good kind of leadership nationally. What happens at the national level descends to the ground level. That is what I can say. And so the earlier the national leadership will change, the earlier the institution leadership will change, because automatically, these are public institutions, and for a public institution, they would initiate something based on what is happening nationally. But then for me, what I can say, there ought to be coming new ideas, new bills and new everything, because you remember at first we had what we used to call you know, let's even have a few on electoral process. The electoral process was actually the general, you know, one man, one vote earlier on. But then nowadays in campus politics, you will find that we have opted, we've gone, there was the bill that was initiated the other day and was sent to law by the president, as transited to have it in a delicate system manner. And so I would say even in the next 2 years, it will have changed. It might change depending on what is happening nationally. Yes.
So it is all dependent on national politics.
Yes, I can say.
Then what impact does national politics have on campus politics?
Okay. You know, being in politics, some persons would tell you, you know what, we have those persons, we would name them godfathers, you know. And for my case, I've been a player in this campus politics, and I would tell you there are those we name them godfathers, but then these are good persons who are willing to see you sail through the campus politics and politics at general level, and so. The persons or even the behavior of the persons in national politics, you would see the strategies they are having, their agendas, how they propel their agendas, how they bring in people together. It is the same scope that you're going to, we, the players who we've participated in these fields and those who are still to participate, we would always observe and be like, oh, so I think we're supposed to be making these moves. Oh, these moves are very okay. Oh, these moves are very okay. Because earlier on, I can tell you, at some point, maybe during campaign periods, people would go there, hey, chant here and there. But then, the way the way our Kenyan politics have shifted so far, you find that politics are ground-based right now. Like you love it, people will tell you, ground. You have to go to ground and everything. And so, for that matter, you will find that in campus politics, some people would come in to have their strategies based on what is happening nationally. Someone tells you ground over there. Now you come here, you go door-to-door campaigns, because you can easily access the campus area and everything. So I know, and I can attest to this, that you know, national politics is what happens nationally is also what happens in campus politics.
Wow.
Yes.
It is very, very, very interesting. And I do hope that it ultimately results in leaders who can propel the country forward in terms of development and, you know, economically. And my director tells me that it's time for us to take a glass of water, but do not go too far away, because we'll be coming back. And after this short break, we will be discussing national politics.
Yes.
Do stay tuned.